There are just a few days left before the Supreme Court goes into recess for the summer.
Our John Rogers is at the alert desk tonight, and he's got the latest on several opinions that were handed down today. John?
Yeah, so the Supreme Court, they're racing to the finish line to release the rest of these opinions. I actually just checked the calendar not too long ago. They're going to continue to release opinions through next Monday. So here's a breakdown of some of the opinions that were released today. First, we confirmed an opinion that was accidentally released yesterday, clearing the way for Idaho hospitals to provide emergency abortions until the case is resolved. Also, the Supreme Court stripped the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, of a major tool in fighting securities fraud. The justices ruled people accused of fraud by the SEC have the right to a jury trial in federal court. The High Court is also putting the EPA's air pollution fighting Good Neighbor plan on hold while legal challenges continue in this. This is a blow to the federal regulations meant to restrict smokestack emissions from power plants that could send pollution downwind to other states and communities. And also today, the justices, they rejected a nationwide settlement with OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma. And this settlement would have shielded the Sackler family, which owns that company, from lawsuits. Megan.
All right, John, thank you. And we know that a lot of organizations were relying on payout money from the Sacklers to fund addiction recovery programs.
Our Jay Korf joins us now live from the Supreme Court tonight. Jay, what comes next for all the people who are waiting on settlement money?
Indeed, Scott and Megan, let's just take Virginia as an example. Because of this settlement that has now been pushed back to the bankruptcy courts and to continued negotiation, there would have been about $100 million that would have gone to Virginia under this settlement. Now, while that money is on hold as we go through this extended process, we should state that the Commonwealth is actually already distributing millions in settlement funds because they negotiated with other opioid manufacturers.
The opioid crisis, erupting in the 1990s, has cost our nation more than 500,000 lives. The Sackler family and its company, Purdue Pharma, makers of the highly addictive synthetic opioid OxyContin, agreed to pay billions to states and individuals for marketing the drug as safe and effective when knowing it wasn't.
So I saw it, from ground zero, if you will.
Kyle Sarecchia worked for years along what was called the OxyContin Highway in Florida. Now he runs an opioid addiction treatment center in Charlottesville, Virginia.
This is killing so many people, and on the way to killing them, it's destroying their lives.
Sarecchia says there are two robust sides to this Supreme Court decision. He very much supports states and individuals getting their settlement money.
Where the Sackler thing comes into play is there are thousands and thousands of people that just trusted their doctor. So all of a sudden there's this very intense, debilitating, and all-consuming addiction that you're left with.
But he was deeply concerned that under the ruling rejected today, the Sacklers would have been shielded from future civil liability.
And removing the wrongdoer from faults, if we should find more in the future or what have you, I think it's important that they remain in a position to be held accountable. If it takes a little longer to get it right, I think that's probably the better way to do it.
So this isn't exactly what families who lost loved ones to this horrific epidemic were expecting to hear. In fact, Justice Kavanaugh called today's decision, quote, wrong on the law and devastating for more than 100,000 opioid victims and their families. Now, Purdue Pharma, that case is kicked back to bankruptcy court while negotiations are expected to resume between lawyers for the plaintiffs and the Sacklers. So this story continues. Reporting live outside the U.S. Supreme Court, I'm Jay Korf for 7 News.